So I wonder have you ever had that time where you've locked yourself out, maybe of your house or your car or your phone, your website, your bank account? I mean, those moments where you're standing on the outside thinking, oh, all my valuable things are in there. Well, I want to talk a little bit about what does it spiritually mean when we lock ourselves away from our own hearts, when we lock ourselves out from our sense of refuge, that sense of sanctuary, that connection both with our heart center in many faith traditions, but also just with ourselves, with our sense of the divine within us. You know, a couple days ago, my morning started with such an unexpected hiccup. My car is a faithful 2010 Lexus that I've driven for 12 years. And recently it's been misbehaving a little bit. The key fob seems to have adopted a mind of its own. It would just lock and unlock randomly, beep, flash light. And a month ago, I even replaced the battery. But recently something deeper has been going on. So I'd stopped at work quickly. My arms were filled with a plant and I just wanted to run inside and drop this plant off so it wasn't overheating in the car while I ran to an appointment. And as I walked away with this plant in hand, I heard a beep. And it was that dreaded beep. I thought, surely my car didn't just lock itself. I mean, isn't that the reason we have these like key fob things, so that we don't lock our keys in the car and walk away with them? And wouldn't you know, I had left my purse, my phone, my tea. God forbid it was my tea. I had left all those things inside the car. And so I came back a few minutes later and there it was. I had locked myself, my car had locked me out of itself. Everything I needed was on the inside and I was on the outside. So, needless to say, an hour and a half later, after I borrowed a phone from somebody in the office, I canceled my appointment, I called the insurance, I called roadside assistance. This kind mechanic came and diagnosed the real issue, that I have this ailing car battery, and he got me back inside. But on the surface, it seems like it was a car problem. But I started thinking, spiritually, it made me reflect on all those ways that I presently am locking myself out of my own life. More specifically, locking myself out of my own heart, locking myself away from my source, my battery pack, if you will, the source, God, Spirit, God's heart. And I lock myself out with all these different ways. You know, I don't know if you'll consider in your own life, but I lock myself out with self-criticism or with judgment of myself and others or the world around me, with over busyness, with scarcity thinking, stress. And what happens is when I lock myself out, I short circuit. And this shows up as random beeping reactions, like all over my life. I'm shutting down, I'm withdrawing, resisting everything really. And I'm reacting to things. And suddenly I feel totally cut off from source, from my power steering, if you will, from the power in my life. And this cutting off from source is this way that we begin to protect ourselves when we start to feel that disconnect. And there's this sense for myself of not being able to feel that connection that I know is always there. And that I know that I need more of my spiritual practice in order to return to that connection. So I ask you to consider, where have you been short-circuiting in your own life? Where have you felt locked out, that you've been locking yourself away from source, from spirit, from God, from your own heart? In Buddhism, the practice of taking refuge points us back to that which connects us. It is a practice of reconnection. Traditionally, refuge means turning to the Buddha, the Dharma, and the Sangha, turning to the teacher, the teachings, and to our spiritual community. But as Tara Brach reminds us in her beautiful book named True Refuge, she says true refuge is never outside of us. It's always here. It's always inside of us, and it comes through our own awareness. It comes from our ability to access compassion and to draw ourselves mindfully back to the present moment, to cultivate a sense of presence with what is, with what's happening. It's that inner sanctuary where we're able to remember, I already carry my home within me. You already carry your home within you. So let's just take a moment now to feel that, to connect with that. And if you feel comfortable, just begin to close your eyes and focus on your breath, taking a deep breath, allowing your shoulders to drop. And perhaps bring to mind the word refuge and what that means to you. Perhaps consider that it is a safe space, a protected space within yourself. And notice where you feel it. Do you feel it more in your heart? Do you feel it in your belly? Do you feel it simply in the rhythm of your breath? And as you contemplate and connect with that sense of refuge within yourself, let this gentle phrase ripple through you. In this breath, I am home. In this moment, I am safe. And now perhaps allow yourself to draw to mind a time when you felt like you were immersed in a sense of contentment, immersed in a sense of peacefulness. Perhaps it was a time when you were giving love or feeling like you were being loved. And just connect now with that sense of fulfillment, that sense of peacefulness in your body. And when you connect with that place, just let your body know that you've felt it, you've seen it, you've recognized it. And now perhaps consider what it means to view yourself with a sense of compassion, through a compassionate lens. Connect with that sense of seeing yourself with compassion, feeling what it is that you have to offer yourself with compassion and what it is that you have to offer others and the world in terms of compassion. Paying attention to how just a few thoughts of kindness, a few thoughts of refuge can soften the atmosphere inside you, almost like it's opening a window and letting in fresh air. And taking another deep breath in and releasing it. You can open your eyes if you feel comfortable. This is the power of a compassionate perspective. This is the power of taking refuge in the present moment to recognize what's happening, what the experience is, to mindfully embrace it, to accept it, and to shift your perspective to compassion, to hold that It's not about ignoring our suffering, but it's about meeting it without being consumed by it, just being present to it. When we can connect with the present moment, it supports us in reframing our view, even so slightly, that we can begin to create space for a sense of safety, create space for a sense of gratitude, for a sense of trust. And this builds resilience. This builds our presence in our way that we approach life with a sense of presence. This compassionate perspective is it's a result of taking refuge. And each time we choose to go within and rest with our awareness, we can intentionally generate a sense of kindness, a sense of gratitude, a sense of acceptance. And in a sense, it's like lighting a lamp in the darkness. We begin to lay bricks in the foundation of that inner home of safety and contentment that comes from connecting with a sense of divine within us. So when your reaction to conditions, or when judgments or self-criticism or a sense of negativity or lack or scarcity begin to feel like they're locking you out, refuge provides a way back into the heart, back into God's a sense of presence, a sense of spirit, and into a way to connect with a compassionate perspective that reminds you that you're never without a sense of home. Tara Brach refers to a short practice in her book, and she calls it light rain. And it's just a practice that very quickly throughout your day you can take in those moments. I've used it in moments when I find myself beeping with reactivity to the world around me. And it goes like this: to just simply pause, to recognize that there's a state of emotional reactivity taking place, to bring awareness to the fact that I'm beeping or that you're beeping, and to pause, to take 3 full breaths, and to allow the experience to be just as it is. And then to investigate with kindness whatever feelings are the most predominant in the moment, whether it be anger, sadness, fear, anxiety, to note what the experience is. And then to add a little step here, let your body know that you've got that you've noticed, to complete the circle of awareness. And then finally, after a few breaths of awareness, of recognition, to be with the experience, return to your regular activity and pay attention. To just check in. Notice if there's more natural presence in the moment at hand, if you feel more present. And then she includes this beautiful poem in her book by Donna Falls. And it says, "Trust the energy that courses through you. Trust. Then take surrender even deeper. Be the energy. Don't push anything away. Follow each sensation back to its source in vastness and in pure presence." Ernest Holmes wrote, "Love is at the center of your being, and the calm, continuous pulsations of life are governed by love. Perfect love," it's written in the Bible, "casts out all fear." And the Buddha taught, just as a lamp dispels darkness, the light of the heart dispels fear. So may you continue to cultivate that light. And by doing so, may you become a refuge for yourself and for others. So now we're just going to move into a time of presence, of refuge, breathing and allowing yourself to just be with what is present, to notice, and just let everything go, to be in the present moment.